Good evening.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's been quite well. Thank you.
Right. So you're busy today, right? We only
Yeah.
have about an hour. Okay. So have you had any problems with the reading test? Was it too hard, too easy, or normal?
No, but I couldn't keep up with the pace of it, so I have done like two tests, and the result was mm, I don't think it reflects my score well. And
So okay, I see. It wasn't really
yes,
successful, right? Well, that's why I gave that to you, right? So that you can practice and show me, like, show off your reading skill or listening skill alongside speaking, right? It helps. It all works together, by the way, right? When you do a bit of reading and listening, you might do a little bit better in speaking the next day or the next hour or so. What
okay.
about listening? Was it harder than reading?
Um, is the pace is kind of fast, so I couldn't keep up with it.
What accent do you remember there? Just British?
I'm sorry. My cat
Uh,
is.
what accents do you remember in the listening test?
Hmm. I remember it was like American.
All right. Yeah.
American one.
So that's one of the easiest, I think. So it shouldn't be a problem. Well, okay. You can do another one. There's a bunch of them, right? Those tests. Just need to see that link to the result. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. What do we have? Well, let me check the writing real quick because that's usually doesn't take long. Uh, all right. So the date here, well done. You chose this topic yourself, I assume, right? All right.
Oh no,
So
you chose it. You
I
chose it
I
last
chose it last
time.
time. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. But you don't have, yeah, you don't have to like do the same topic. You could do any. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
But okay, yeah, it's fine. Um, yeah. So these days there is this trend in which people are more fond of living independently, instead of in crowded accommodation. Right? That looks good. Uh-huh. That's a good start. Uh, the most important thing here is timing, of course. So how long did it take you to come up with that one sentence?
oh, I looked at the clock and I remember like, but I didn't write it in. Oh my god.
The big clock strategy. Okay, so
I didn't look at the clock, but like I wrote this like
so have you timed yourself?
I didn't tell myself, but
Oh, I see.
I
Okay.
looked at the clock, and when it ended, I like calculated the time.
So
Like
yeah, try this
okay.
next time. Careful with the timing.
Mhm.
Learn how to follow the minutes. Now,
Okay.
while many opinions were given, what do you mean by this?
Like there are many opinions. Like there a debate of.
Exactly 250. Wow.
Oh, I didn't know how to
That's
count the words.
oh, that's just it's pretty simple. Let me put it here to count to see the word count. Control plus shift plus let's see here.
Okay.
Select the text first and yeah, okay. Now well this is unnecessary, right? You don't really need to say this. while there are many differing opinions, I am determined that this tendency, I'm determined that it's a bit outdated, but probably fine. Like, usually, yeah, this is a very common way to say, right? I'm determined that something will go well for me, or I'm determined to do well myself. But
Hmm.
here you have, like, I'm determined that this tendency, okay, this tendency could lead to
It's a
bright benefits.
trend.
I'm determined that, oh, okay, yeah, that this tendency could could lead, right? So the point of this sentence is to be 100% clear with your like statement,
Oh,
with your position. One, no ambiguity whatsoever, right? So what does it mean? Better to write it
well,
clearer. I firmly believe that whatever is that's a negative trend. It's all right. You can even repeat it here. Here, I think it's not going to matter that much if you just repeat it, just to be 100% clear, because it's just part of the task, I guess. To
mm,
yeah, to be clear. Is this a positive, negative trend? Have to answer it here. And so I ask you that: is it good or bad? And you say, I'm determined this tendency could lead to bright benefits to society. I guess it's kind of like positive, but could. Mm, yeah,
will, like the would.
benefits will, yeah, it's better than
Mm,
well, leads, or definitely it would definitely lead, could definitely lead.
mhm,
There are two main reasons why I agree. So this is not the right structure, because we should start with an opening reason. There has to be the reason already for why you
mm,
think it benefits the society. So it should start. You never need to say this like many do, two or three reasons. Just all right. So 60% of adults feel exhausted. This is not clear as well. I still don't know what you
mm,
mean. Having to face unavoidable conversation interaction with others under the same roof as one burden to well, not to be added one more burden to well to deal with, maybe for
mm,
those who are already tired. Well, some issues with connecting these ideas here with today's pace of life. It's a good start. Where did you get this? Like, did you pick it up at school or on your own?
no, well, I heard some people using the like pace of life, but it
Nice, yeah.
was
Today's pace of life that's great at the end of the day, right? So how can you connect it to the next idea here?
mm, the end. Uh,
How
Well,
about we just
for
how about we just remove it? Will it work like this, you think? Just nothing?
mm,
Feel exhausted and drained at the end of the day, having had having had to face avoidable conversation and I would say and interactions, uh, well, and or I guess interactions with others under the same roof. So we're talking about living alone. So your in reasoning, in short, what is it here?
it's like in a crowded household, there are many family members, right? Though it is unavoidable to interact with them and to communicate with them, which could be draining and tiring to people, to some people. Yeah.
And there's this trend or more fun living independently. Okay, so yeah, you're saying it's tiring to interact with people under the same roof, and then so well under the same roof. Do you think it's an idiom? How can you rephrase that
Oh,
without an idiom?
living living in the same household.
Yeah, that's better. So that kind of phrasing will stand out more than an idiom in writing. In speaking, that's great. That's what you should say, right, under the same roof. But in writing, a good idea to not use that. This could
Mm,
severely. Mm-hmm. You could even continue. This could always be transformed into which, right? Comma, which.
mm,
So even an even longer sentence. So that's like superb if you can manage to make this structure like from start to finish sound right. Yeah, that will definitely give you extra
mm.
points. This could severely affect, and all of that could severely affect one's mental. We don't have such thing as a mental life, so
Mental health life.
well, I don't think we need life. Like we don't really have like a mental life. It's just part of life.
Mm,
I mean, mental health is part of life. So this could
mm,
affect one's mental health and life quality. Yeah, quality of life we usually say, and the quality of their life. Yeah, now this could really affect one's and the quality of life. Yeah, it could definitely be added to the same sentence as well, like easily. So
mm.
that's one of the skills that you need to show to the examiner through writing and speaking, less shorter sentences. Consequently, the majority of citizens in urban cities. You could add things like according to the statistics,
Mm,
according to the global statistics, or whatever, like any number of words you can fit in into that according to something, or research shows. The recent research shows that the majority of citizens in urban, I would just say areas, because cities, like urban already means city, like city
mhm,
place. What is it? Connected with a town or city. So it's like you're saying cities. Doesn't make
mm.
sense, right? So
In
in
urban
uh,
area.
majority of in urban areas have the preference to settle for a single living, or settle for a
Mm,
single living. What is that? What do you mean?
mm.
Oh, you
Like
mean like
settle.
living alone? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't say like that. Settle for, well, actually, I'm just gonna check it, but I can tell you for sure we don't say it like that. We do have artistic vagabonds who simply won't settle for single living place. Yeah, it's so different. So, to settle for what I would say alive, maybe alive, what for maybe a lonely life. How about that? Does it
Mm,
make sense?
okay. That
Or,
sounds a little bit negative.
yeah, well, your versions then for an independent lifestyle. Yeah,
Okay.
independent and
Dependent
lifestyle.
only.
That definitely sounds better, but
Mm,
we've overused it, right, a bit, or maybe not. I should,
yes. That's why I tried to turn it into
well,
single.
not too bad. Like once per paragraph, once per paragraph is fine, I guess. Single, singular, single. Yeah, I don't think it works like that. Okay, or a small family. With a few members only. Okay. So yeah, missing a topic sentence here. You could even, like, if you really want to say this, it could be part of this sentence here, right? So I believe they like I like firmly believe that this is a positive. This is a good thing. Yeah, and there are two main reasons why I think that, and this essay will detail why. Yeah, you can add that to introduction. if you really want to like add more words to your essay. And the second factor that influence, so you don't even have the first one. You didn't say anything like the first thing, right? So a little bit strange to say the
Mm.
second. All right, the second factor that influences people's decision. What decision?
Decision to settle for like independent lifestyle or crowd.
Yeah, so a bit unclear here as well. People's
Hmm.
choice, preference. Well, hmm, I guess we're talking about the same thing, so should be kind of clear, but still could be specified potentially. Not that bad though, yeah. People's decision is the high. Um, Instead of people's, you could just say that influences the decision, right? That way you are saying this one, right? Is the high possibilities.
Possibility.
People's decision is the high, well, usually possibility of controversies among. All right, so here you have a reason. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's how you should do it every time you write a body paragraph. So we have arguments here, yeah, between family members. As a matter of fact, more people equals more opinions on the problem. Can you try to connect it into one sentence? Like make it one.
Mm. Families, since more people equals.
Mm-hmm.
Since
Or
because
or you could expand this, like make it longer a little bit
mm,
somehow. Can you? Maybe instead,
expand that
yeah,
sentence only.
just add more words to it somehow.
As a matter of fact, um,
It is commonly accepted that you can
since
unfold more people into more words as well, right? More people, like what is it? Members of the family, more
mm,
like more heads, more hmm, more opinions, right? More opinions on one problem. More people equals more opinions on every problem, I would say, yeah, on more.
mhm,
Okay, these disagreements are most likely to originate from generational gaps, lifestyles, and genders. Again, could be combined with which are, or on one, on each, on every problem, uh, leading to disagreements, which are more likely, more likely to originate. Okay, so be connected here. Youngsters, can you paraphrase that?
oh, young people, offsprings.
Offspring's not. Youngsters not the best
Oh,
either one. Well, young people, yeah, that's better. And you need a connective here. Missing something.
mm, for instance, for
All right.
example, but like I already used, for instance,
To be
like
more specific, you can
in
say, as an
okay.
example, uh, take an example of youngsters. Well, that's mostly for speaking. Maybe may feel unwanted, may disturbances from elders. Disturbances. Does it fit here? So actions make you stop doing disturbing mostly, yeah? Disturbance. Yeah. Alright. May feel more disturbances from elders' habits. And the opposite applies. What do you mean the
Hmm.
opposite? Like the opposite meaning the younger generations bother the older generations,
Well, I mean, like vice versa. Like,
and vice versa, yeah?
yeah.
And the opposite applies. Hmm. For instance, research has been made, and research has been proven. Well, so research and has proven that conflicts have a high percentage of breaking out in bigger households than in small ones. All right, this is really good. I like this, but maybe you could change breaking out to something else.
Happening. Um. Hmm.
Out, well, starting, yeah, mostly happening, emerging. Emerging is a good one, perfect for
Hmm.
writing. Starting, erupting, commencing, arising. Yeah, arising is correct here. Occurring, so many options. Better options here. Yeah. So to sum up, I believe, again, to sum up, any other way to
To
say this?
summarize.
To summarize, in conclusion, right? I believe that independent lives or small family
But
units, unit lives. Oh, well, in this case, you might want to do this, like hyphenated, small
mm,
family unit lives, or
mm,
optimistic, not
or
great.
positive.
Huh? Positive, yeah. So
Optis-
optimistic.
Optimistic is for a person, right?
What's not positive? Optimistic is not positive. Optimistic is just believing something could be good when things are bad,
Mm,
especially. But it doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't actually have any effect on life, like outside of just thinking. So
mm,
positive is a real thing. Optimistic is like, yeah, it's unreal. I believe that independent lives. I still what's an independent life? Like an independent life. Mm. Like
mm,
people leading independent lives and or living in small family units is a positive change in our society, right? Due to the hustling and bustling culture today. Culture. Mm, hustling and bustling culture. Mm. Any other way to paraphrase this?
busy lifestyle.
Yeah, just keep it like that. It's a bit better. Busy could also be paraphrased in a more literary way. You can look it up later.
Mm,
Today, since it is vital for anyone to have a peaceful place to rest. Okay, so again in the conclusion, you take this and then you take the first sentence of each paragraph in the body sections, and then you paraphrase them together. Yeah.
mm,
So
I did
you did kind of you summed it up, like you combined that into like a place to rest, as in like here we have drained and exhausted, and plus like arguing, right? So disagreements, and so peaceful place to rest without what? Are you there? Lagging, I think. Okay, we'll be back now.
without disturbance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
without disturbances or whatever else you can think of here. Just to add that like throwback to the second paragraph. Mhm. Okay, so that was good. Well done. Now just yeah. Have you ever written this?
Um. Well, I didn't rewrite it the everything. I
A
just
little bit, yeah? Okay.
changed.
Yeah, so keep doing this, please. The whatever task you feel weaker at, like if you feel more confident with task one, and do task two, and vice versa, yeah? And I want to see more next time. Mhm. Reach out again is like an idiom, better to be a bit more specific here. Turns and both. Get tidings. That's
I I searched it out in the Pterosaurus.
thesaurus, yes. So that's great for speaking, not for writing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's even worse than reach out. Like, well, reach out, okay, but get tidings definitely not. I mean, not the best, not the best. It is just about one third. Here, remember also no contractions. Just reminding you, you're not doing that, but just making sure, because it's easy to get used to that uh, kind of writing. Again, it's just above one third of the motion. Who access online? What is that?
it's like the people who access online to get the news.
Online access online. What? There's no such thing as online as a noun.
Um, access online news online.
News then, yeah. Okay, so that's missing. Who access online news? No. Okay. Mhm. Well, watching TVs. Watching TV. We usually say, right? And we're not. The point is not watching TVs. It's TV. It's about getting news, right?
Yes.
So
So we have to include that into.
yeah, unfortunately, task one is very strict when it comes to specifics. So please
Hmm.
keep that in mind. Task two is much more liberal when it comes to, well, again, your examples. You can be totally off the mark when it comes to, yeah, like whatever you're talking about, like statistics and whatever, but here it has to be very specific. TV news, then, yeah. Well, which is more favored in this country? More favored with 40%. Doesn't sound great. It's understandable. Hmm.
In this country,
You could
at
um, uh, add 40%, something like this as an option. It's not the best way, but sometimes you could do this.
oh.
Which is like while watching TV news, which is at 40%, is more
Hmm.
favored. Yeah, something like this is okay. Which is whatever else you can think of. I just don't want to waste too much time on this right now. So, which is for example to Australia there, 37%. Oppositely, only 7%, but you don't need that. Only 7% of people in Canada use radio. It's their choice of vaccine use, while only 2% of the surveyed subject. Well, subjects still, yes, not the best, definitely. Surveyed, well, individuals, while only, what? You're missing the end of the sentence here. Only 2% of the surveyed. Maybe you could even keep it just like this, of the surveyed, and that's it. And in Australia, or citizens, Australian citizens, what?
Visits people
Do the same.
neighbors.
No, you need 2% of Australians what? Do what?
Australia.
Oh,
Australia.
you can read it again from start to finish to understand it better. Just say radio. No, I don't think we need the, yeah. Use radio as their choice of accessing news. Yes,
Yeah, do.
do the same. Or do the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's a little bit of a head scratcher here now because it's like reviewing the same writing for the third time. So just write something new, right? Pick a topic and write it again. I mean, pick
Um,
something there.
test one and part one and two.
Sorry?
No, I'm just asking. So the homework is to write a new part one and part two.
Well, ideally, yeah, but if you don't have time, just do something. It's better than nothing, right? It's always like that. Like when I give a lot of homework, some students just decide not to do anything at all, right? So I've decided to give the choice to the students instead, and it's up to you. Like if you do like half of part of task two, that's better than doing nothing at all, right? Maybe like only the introductory paragraph of task one if you have like 10 minutes or something. Still better than nothing. So please, yeah, do as much as you can, but ideally, well, one full task and time yourself, please. You need to write down the strictly, yeah. What is it? Write down the what was it? The time when you finish. Put it down. Put down the time after writing when you finish. Yeah, but that's something to keep in mind. Because timing, because if you get used to writing within 1 hour, like task two, within 1 hour, and then suddenly you have to do the same, but in 40 minutes, you'll just fail. So timing is super important. Now, okay.
Mm.
Describe an activity that made you feel tired. That should be easy, right? So many options here. So easy.
No, today I no, but for this homework I kind of messed up a lot. Got
What does it mean?
many
Does it mean you
errors.
had to record yourself many times? No?
No, but I had a lot of errors because I
Mm.
didn't have time for it. I
Didn't
don't
have, what do you mean didn't have time?
um, like normally if I have like failed a a topic or something, I will choose another topic to
Yes, I see,
record
I
it,
see.
right?
Got it.
But like in the weekends, I had really little time, cause so I used the instant one that I got, and that has many fails.
I understand. Okay, that's no problem. That's great actually. I can see your failed attempts as well. That's something I could check as well. Let me
And
see. Let me
actually,
hear.
the first activity that sprang to my mind was oh, that one time I had a car camping trip. Consider really carefully. Destination, the nature surroundings were just not as we expected.
All right, good. It's 2 minutes. That's great. You try to like push yourself a little bit there. That was nice. Um, that's what we do. When I first read the question, the first activity that sprang to my mind was that one time I had a car camping trip for a whole week, for a whole week straight. I'm feeling very good start. I like this. Perfect, you know? Mm. And to be honest, that was an exhausting experience. Okay, great as well. So, to be honest, used correctly, not many people do this right because usually, again, we use it with negative experiences or negative things. Like, yeah, exhausting, very good. I traveled with all my closest relatives. You can add a bit more here, like a bit of a transition. At that time, I traveled with all my closest relatives. To me, it was really and yeah, and is a good one, right? And to me, it was really overwhelming.
I overused and in
Yeah,
this
I
one.
see. I see you have and it's. kind of fine. The things like so, and yeah, those are okay. Like to overuse a little bit, I think those are fine in speaking, not like writing, but speaking that's okay, not too bad. Of course, paraphrase is best, but you could say in the end, well, after like all things considered, to me it was really overwhelming for me, usually for me. So that was what the activity was. We try to focus on the activity. You have car camping. Um, so you have here, it was an exhausting experience. You can move that into the last question completely and just focus on what the activity was. So what does it mean? You can either explain the activity if it's a little uncommon, but here I think it's fine. There's nothing really to talk about, like just a car trip. But what makes it worthwhile talking about is your unique experience with that car trip. Like, how do people in your country, in your hometown, in your family do these kind of things? That's unique. So that's why, I mean, that's how you answer what the activity was, like a car trip or camping trip. But how does your family do it? How is it different from people in Africa that do the same, or in Europe, or in Australia, right? So that's what you can add. What is it? Maybe you use a certain kind of car
I
that.
cannot hear you right.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now? Must be a problem with the connection. Yeah. Hello? Hello? All right. Have you rejoined with the laptop or with the tablet?
I rejoined with the tablet and then now the laptop, but seems okay now.
I'm checking my connection right now and it seems to be totally fine. There's no issues whatsoever. There's just nothing wrong with it. So, yeah, it must be
Nice
something
to.
in between. But yeah, if you want to guarantee a good connection, you should use a cable, which is what I'm using. Cable from your, like that box that they install in your house to your laptop. That's the best. Guarantees good connection. Okay.
Okay.
So, car camping trip. Point is, you need to specify how it's unique in your situation, in your country, in your maybe family. So that's how you answer these kind of questions, like what the activity
Oh.
was or whatever it was. So you can of course explain what a general car camping trip is. You can say which is like a long trip into a forest or to some uninhabited lake where you camp. But you can also explain how it was different in your case from people in other countries. So yeah,
Hmm.
and then you can add this exhausting experience here at the end. You can move it there, and then about closest relatives. Well, okay, yeah, that is not a question, so we don't have who here, so that's okay to add to the explanation at the start. Yeah. So now next we have when it happened, even though it was 3 years ago since that happened, 3 years ago since that happened, I still cannot get rid of the impression that it had brought me. Had brought a why past perfect?
Mm, given me or
Like, what's the logic here for the past perfect?
Impression. Wow, I don't know. It
So
had brought.
we've got two events in the past for past perfect normally. And past perfect is the furthest one from now. And it happened, usually happens before another action in the past. But I don't see another action.
Hmm. So what should it be? It
Just
brought.
has brought or has brought me. Just brought is fine because you're talking about that specific time. So, and I still cannot, even though, yeah, I still cannot get rid of the impression it brought me. And it still haunts me today. Haunts me. That's the terrible experience, okay, I see. Every time I get asked to join any kind of family event, I, well, instead of will, we could use like the regular thing. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like I usually,
Um.
every time I get asked, I
Oh.
oftentimes rethink it
Oh.
and consider it really carefully because that's the regular thing, normal thing that you do, right? So we don't need that will here. That's about when it happened. Okay. This thing haunts me. Again, this is closer to the last question. Or, I know, actually, why it made you feel tired? No, okay, no, I guess it's a bit different, right? So that's fine. I'm just saying that it could be a bit more on topic with when 3 years ago. You could tell me more about the time of year, the month, maybe, or what was happening in your life back then, how old you were, or whatever, like
Hmm.
maybe close to some holiday or some other stuff like that, right? What prompted your family to go there? What time of year? Yeah. So, all right, where it took place?
I kind of skipped that question. At
Okay,
the
well,
time. I
next
don't know
time
why.
at home you practice, you try to follow that little paragraph, at least a couple sentences. So, and the reason why it was so exhausting and tiring to me was due to the fact that it was too crowded. Well, the trip was too crowded, yeah. Okay, so like it was crowded inside the car, I assume.
Yes.
Was it like a minibus or something?
Mm,
Minivan?
sort of. I would say like just a 7 seat car
I
type.
see. Okay. Too
Yes.
suffocating. And this is really good. You definitely get extra points for this. Suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing is the experience of moving. Well, I would say was right at that time, or was that the experience of moving to the destination was horrible. Moving. I had, as I had to sit the back row. We usually say at the back of the car, but I assume there were like 3 rows or something, with all the supplies and food for the entire trip. When we got to the destination, and when we got there, the destination did not meet our expectations. Its natural surroundings. Yeah, it seems like a terrible trip, but great overall. I like this. Let me hear the emotion a little bit here.
Mm, for the whole very long trip, full of hours to another province, and when we got there, the destination, the nature surroundings were just um, not as we expected.
Okay, yeah, so you add emotions when you say things like "we're awful," right? Like that emotion is good to add to show that you really understand what you're saying, which is important to see that you're not like memorizing, that you understand how the language works. Intonation, it's called, right? Awful. It was simply awful. Okay, like that. So remember that no robotic like expression. You will be probably scared, nervous, but that's what we're practicing here. The more practice you get now, the more calm, the calmer you'll be during the test. That's all we care about. Let's do this more. Well done. Have you practiced speaking in front of a selfie or a mirror?
I used a mirror, like a
Really,
whole
this
body
time?
mirror.
Great. Yes, that's. Did you try to keep the eye contact the whole time?
Well, it was my eye contact was kind of messy. Like I
Well, of
couldn't.
course, you need to look back. You need to look down at the card. You have to because you forget the questions otherwise. And well, a good idea to check your notes as well. So it's all right, like looking here, up, but not like away, right? Don't answer like this, yeah. So that
Mm-hmm.
it also helps being a bit more confident. The best thing you can do is of course to like find some foreigner and who is not like an examiner or whatever, just for free, and like just talk to them. That will help you like remember that this is like, imagine this is an exam. Try to look them in the eyes and just say something, whatever, talk about something like part three, like how Vietnam is doing in the world or something, yeah, or your mom or your friend, yeah, just so that it's a conversation. That will definitely help you a lot. All right. Any questions about, well,
Um,
anything?
like when I take the test, it will be video call, right? It's not like a face-to-face examiner. So is it really important to keep eye contact when like between the screens they want
Are you sure it's going to be a call?
a call? Yeah.
Okay, well, because there are different ways of taking it. Normally, well, at least in the past, it used to be that you have to meet with the examiner. But if you're taking it online, might be a little bit harder actually, because it's easier to look more nervous on camera. Well, you could just look in the
Mm,
camera, where the camera is. When you look there, it's like a direct eye contact like this, so it helps. It shows confidence because I can tell you for sure, most of the students will be answering like this, right? Or a little bit to the side or a little bit scared, right?
mm,
So if you're not like that, you will stand out, you look better. That's a
mm,
plus for you. But
mhm.
yeah, like if you can, I recommend doing it in like person to person like that. Yeah, if you have a choice, but if not, it's fine. Whatever.
I
There
don't
you
have a choice.
go.
They just set me up like that.
Yeah, so you have another challenge here to try and finish with this idiom, and I don't have the
Oh.
slightest drop of doubt that, for example, in this case, could be that I'm never going to go on a similar trip again, or that I'm going to
Mm,
be very careful at choosing my next car camping trip.
mm.
Like that, yeah? It's a little bit, can add a bit of a
I
smile
still
to.
couldn't like control the time, so I didn't know where to put that in.
Yeah, it's hard. So you can do it like this. You can have a timer on, grab any random topic, and just see how long it takes to answer one question, or try to answer like each or a random question perfectly within 30 seconds, and see how many sentences it takes you. Is it two? Is it three? Is it four? And try it several times and see on average the length. Then that way you already know. So, okay, I need on average three to finish one question within 30 seconds, for example, right? If you speak fast. Or if you are nervous on average, maybe it's just two, but at least you'll answer each and you'll have a full answer, varied answer. You'll get extra points for that, more vocabulary, more transitions, more connectives, right? You're doing great so far. So you should have some confidence, believe in yourself. You should definitely maybe smile a bit more, because you should be proud of your level of English, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
Like smiles show confidence, but it's not like a requirement at all. It's like
Mm.
comes with experience. So
Yeah.
yeah, you wanted to finish now, or do we like continue a bit more because we started late and we had an interruption?
Okay. Um,
Yeah. So
if you are available.
yeah, I am. So we've got about, I think, 8 more minutes according to what we've missed so far. Then I wanted to do this, which is part 3. Last time we did part 1 and 2, as you remember. And
Yes.
just move on to part 3 now. I'm just gonna move on.
uh, cakes and brownies and things like that. Yes.
Oh, I cannot
Can I have
hear
the
anything.
Sorry. Yeah. I forgot. I need to share the window like this. Okay. All right.
booklet and the paper and pencil back?
Well,
Cakes
they're not gonna
and brownies and
ask you
things
to
like
like
that.
for
Thank
the
you.
paper
Can I
back.
have the
So yeah,
booklet and the paper and pencil
gonna be
back,
a bit different.
please? Thank you. We've been talking about something you enjoyed making when you were a child, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, children and making things. What are the kinds of things children in your country often make by hand?
Was everything clear?
Not. Can I hear the question again?
Yeah.
Making things. All children and making things. What are the kinds of things children in your country often make by hand?
Hmm. Well, in my nation, as far as I know, most children you usually make handmade made stuff for entertainment use, like as toys or replacement of what they cannot afford. So they have to make them by hands, like some origamis made of papers or rubber bands or some familiar materials to kids in Vietnam.
Okay. Um. So in my nation, it sounds a bit awkward.
Mm.
Say here, maybe in these parts, in the area where I'm from, or where I'm from, kids. Okay, so hand make stuff, you said?
Handmade.
Like, did you use hand make as a verb?
Oh no, handmade. I try to say
Well,
that, but
you can. I guess you can say hand make. It's a verb as well. You could say that, but
oh,
possibly. So handmade stuff for entertainment use. Any other way to rephrase?
to entertain
Okay, that's a bit better.
themselves.
Or just for entertainment. They hand make stuff for their personal entertainment in their free time,
Mm,
in a leisure time. Yeah.
mm,
All right. By hands. Yeah.
yes.
By hand. No S.
Oh, by hand.
Yeah, and made of like a origami, made of papers.
Yes.
Paper.
Paper.
Yeah, just
Paper
paper.
drawing.
Made of paper. But good answer. So these kinds of answers are actually before that even. How many types of questions do we have in part 3 in speaking?
Type
Like
of questions.
no,
Like,
no, general types of questions in part 3 in speaking. How many types do we have? Part 3 questions. How many types in total?
I don't really know.
Okay, so there are
Can
two
tell.
types. One type is opinion. Sorry, it's a list of list of things, which is ideas. It's called an ideas type of question.
Mm,
This is an ideas type of question because it asks you to list things. All right, it's the most common one, and the second was a bit less common, and that one is ideas questions, where you usually have two sides to a certain argument. Like, well, some people think this, others think the opposite thing, right? So that one has a structure I can give you, but the list of things it's a good idea to answer that at least once per test with a structure where you say how many ideas you've got, right? So, for example, here, what do they make by hand, these kids in your country? You can say, well, I think I've got about two main ideas on what to say here, or like they make, in this case, would be better to say, I believe there are two main like categories of things that they make, which is paper-based, whatever things for entertainment, or and wooden based, material based,
Hmm.
like wooden toys or something. Yeah. So you mentioned categories. Better to talk about instead of like origami, a bit too specific. You could start with a category, like category paper based, and then well origami, whatever else you could think of, and then another category and specify. But start the ideas, questions with how many ideas you got, like honestly. Don't say, oh, there are so many things they make, and then you get stuck and think of only one. Doesn't make sense, right? So think, and normally we would say like, well, two things, or there's only one. Actually, there's only one thing that I can think of that they make. That's also fine. Yeah, you could say one, two, maybe three if you have time to mention all of them. Well, four, I guess, fine if you, again, if you speak very fast, maybe. Don't say like many. And you can also
Mhm.
say no idea, like zero, right? For example, here you could say, like if you get stuck, if you like get shocked by a question, right? Like what are the common types of plants that people like in Vietnam?
Oh,
Well, see? So how would you answer that?
yeah. Um, I don't know much about flower store types.
Well, you need
Mm.
to expand that. That's actually a type of answer too. You can say, I'm personally not familiar with the plant life, with the flora of this country, and especially with what people like, because I'm so busy with my studies and I've never had any interest in any greenery and any trees and flowers, and nobody has ever taught me in regards to that. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's not my domain of knowledge at all. However, I can like give you a wild guess, and I guess they like roses or something or palm trees. That's all, right? So that's a type of answer as well, and it's actually very useful to know because you might get stuck like that, and you can use it yourself, right? So, like, what are the I don't know, what do you think the people on Earth should do in regards to space travel in the future?
Well, space traveling is not my specialty, especially when I am more invested in the humanity sections rather than the more nature and space category. Because I don't find space that intriguing to explore about. I would rather read about humanity instead.
Yeah, and at the end, you still give like a general,
Oh
very
yeah,
easy guess, like
yes.
one quick guess or
Mm.
one quick example, one quick idea. So,
Mm.
but I guess
But I guess maybe they will travel using rockets
as
as
they
I've
have
seen
been,
on
yes. Yeah,
yeah.
as it has been seen so far on TV and everywhere. Yeah. Okay, so that's and well, of course, you probably shouldn't say it more than like two times, maybe, but a couple times is fine. Like there'll be two topics in part three, two different topics, and it's actually this is one of my favorite things to teach because for some reason people get really stuck on some questions and they really don't know how to answer because they think they are supposed to know, but no, you're supposed to show English, not the knowledge of the every subject. And as long as you do that, that's fine. You said humanity. You meant humanities, right? I'm more
Oh,
into humanities. Humanity is like the people, right? But humanities is
yes.
this. all right, field of studies. Now,
One.
and the opposite, well, like not the opposite, but the other field is what? Like humanities, and we have
Well, space traveling.
no, I mean like
Uh, no, I
general.
forgot. I think
Well,
natural. Like
STEM, natural sciences, they're called,
yeah.
or STEM, the STEM
Oh,
subjects.
no. Okay.
Or you could, if you really forget everything, you just say like, well, so I'm more into humanities. I'm not like my mind doesn't work well when it comes to maths, physics, and chemistry and so on, right? So you could say that.
Mm.
Like that's appreciated in IELTS, meaning that might even get an extra point for being able to say something you forgot the word for. I mean, not say, just
Mm.
explain that in English, right? So
Mm.
yeah, that's a great skill to have as well. So just not being stuck and keeping up the conversation, very important. No silence, number one rule of speaking. So, well, we'll finish with this next time then, yeah. And let me add that to
Mm.
yeah.
In the next lesson, can you give like some tips to answer the part 3 speaking? Because
Yes, of course we will. That's what we'll focus on next time. I think we'll spend less time checking homework probably, because I think you already understand what to do. Just keep going. Maybe one, two, three more times. Like you don't have to do just once every time. I mean, you don't have to do just one part two. Just keep going. Actually, let me add that to your doc. So homework for today is going to be part three instead of part two. Yeah? I think you already more or less understand how to do part two, so let's try part three instead. And well, that's the same as part two, same like structure of the homework. Just find a topic and talk about it and write it down. About 50 seconds on average. This is what we have in part two. Sorry, part three. About
mm-hmm.
50 seconds per answer. Yeah, that's so it means not too long, not too short. Yeah, but most importantly, not too short. Next time, when would you like to meet?